Burner app and ZingoTV apps in their respective app store on iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure to rate and leave a comment. Both apps are free.
ZingoTV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, and Fire Sticks, Roku and Roku Sticks, and all smart TVs 2016 forward. Hello, welcome to Controlled Chaos. My name is Tamara Siobhan. This is my co-host, Warren J. It's the show where anything can happen within reason. All right, let's get down to it. What a crazy week it's been. How you doing?
Good, crazy as usual, but you know, that's never a bad thing, I guess. It's better than being boring. How about you?
I mean, I'm good. I need to know if there's any updates with this woman that's been writing you love notes.
my number one fan downstairs. No, but Friday after the show, I definitely cemented my place in the pantheon of her most hated people. It was not a quiet night at all. So what are you gonna do, right? Like, don't challenge me to give you a bad time, like that type of thing. You're ensuring a diminishing return if you tell me something in the most obnoxious and least respectable way possible. I'm just not gonna comply. You know, I'm not a contrarian. I'm defiant like that, right? I don't like to be put in a cage. So yeah, that was I haven't gotten any direct updates from them, but I'm quite sure that they're silently praying for my death right now.
Yeah, I was like, it's probably not going to go well. But I mean, she brought it on herself. So I love how we just assume this is a woman and that she's just a white woman named Karen.
It's white female behavior. Not like middle-aged to senior white female behavior. 45 to 60, I would say, is the window for that sort of entitlement generally. I'm pretty, you know, I don't normally like to stereotype people, but I feel like I'm on the money with that guess. Like I don't feel bad making that assumption at all. You know, I'm quite sure that it would prove out if this person actually knocked on my door that they're exactly who I thought that they were.
Like this part, like, see, there's certain type of people that like really come out and be who they are during this holiday season. Like this is the kind of person that would go to the Christmas market and like take pictures in front of the tree.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Christmas market crowd, 100%.
Dude, I'm so happy the Christmas market's not happening.
Yeah, I can't say I was ever one to frequent that thing, but I just got annoyed from a distance by it. I was like, you know what? I don't really need to check this out. I feel like I know kind of what this is about and what the crowd attending it's going to be like. So yeah, it was never really for me. What are some of your thoughts on it?
Well, it's just like someone that's just like, oh, I love nutmeg with my wine. That's the way I do it. I go with my like boyfriend or girlfriend or significant other that I've been dating for like 3 weeks, but we're totally going to make it. If you can make it through the holiday season, you can make it through anything. You know, those kind of people.
Yeah. Let's go on a date where we're gonna be, you know, just putting crap on our Instagram stories every minute and a half, because surely, and then if we spend like $40 on some tacky Christmas decorations that we're gonna put on the tree once a year, that's somehow gonna improve our quality of life. It's a whole lot of lemmings at that thing. I really don't want to be any part of it, and I hope that just stays canceled. To be quite honest, I don't care if people think I'm a Scrooge for it. Just whatever, man.
Well, it's like you don't want to spend $15 on an ornament that you're going to just never use again.
I know, it's insane, right? Who would have thought that common sense would be so uncommon in today's day and age? But yet, here we are, right?
The lineups and like how huge that tree was, and like just scrolling through your Instagram and seeing the exact same picture, just insert new people. I'm like, okay, we get it. You spent $150 in 2 hours today.
Yeah, who cares? It's a giant Christmas tree. Guys, get over it. Like, who are you, Kevin McAllister? Like, this is so important to you? Jesus Christ, turn the page already. It's 2020. There's a pandemic. There's more interesting stuff going on in the world. Everyone's like, oh, the Christmas market's canceled. I'm like, that's one of the things I fully co-sign the cancellation of it. It's like nightclubs. They can burn in hell. Nightclubs are just carnies with liquor licenses. I'm glad they're going out of business. That's one industry that I don't care how bad they're getting kneecapped right now. And the Christmas market, I'll throw into that same category. It's just like, I don't care, guys. I really don't have any charitable feelings for you. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry that you owned like government or whatever, but like oh, I love how they turned what's that place that where everyone wears all white and it's all white.
Cabana, Caravana, whatever. Cabana, right?
Not Cabana or Caravana.
It's not. Is it? What's it called? Or Coco Cabana? I don't know. I'm not a club guy, really, especially not like in my Toronto life, right? So I don't know. What is the name of it? You would know better than I would, I think.
It's definitely Cabana. But it's
Okay,
just so
Cabana.
funny that you're like, I don't know. It's either Cabana or Caribbean where people wear white, Caravana, or like
Yeah.
Copacabana. It doesn't matter.
Something like that. There's a C and a B and an N. That's all I know. That's about as far as my knowledge goes with that. Not pretending to be down with all the trends, you know. Yeah.
Well, they turned Cabana into like a full sit-down restaurant where they're like, "Would you like a filet mignon?" I'm like, someone like slipped me MDMA here last year. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh, brutal. They switched from being a club to a sit down fancy restaurants. Like both of those industries, like you got to pivot from either one of them right now. Like neither one is pandemic proof. Like they're completely just doomed to fail no matter what they did.
Nothing's pandemic proof. Like, honestly, I've realized not even my bras are pandemic proof. Like, I haven't worn a bra in like days.
Yeah. I mean, that's what freedom feels like, though. I feel like underwear was forced on us by big underwear. Like this is it's a scam, man. I'm not buying into it. Sorry, Bill Gates, you and your underwear agenda. I don't know, man. I don't mess with underwear. Haven't for a long time, so I'm totally with you on that one. I feel like welcome to the good team.
Hold on, you don't wear underwear?
No, dude, we've gone over this before. Sweatpants, no underwear. That's my uniform for like the last 3 years. And I've been social distancing before it was cool. I was like a hipster with this whole pandemic. Like my lifestyle has been so mildly affected. I've been about the life that we're now being told by our government that we have to live way before it became mandated. I was just like, I mean, not that no underwear is part of the mandate, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know, man. I was already with the trend. And so I feel like, yeah, I'm more or less just being told to live my life as I usually have. It's fine, right? I wasn't going to Cabana before this pandemic.
I love how they're like, listen, if you don't have to wear underwear anymore as long as you wear your mask. It's fine. And you're like, okay, cool, yeah.
Yeah. I had a very trollish idea earlier. My rosacea has been breaking out like crazy. I don't know why. I've been cursed for being too beautiful, I guess. I don't know what's going on, but like my face has just been so red. Anyone watching the video right now could probably see it. Even the light's not doing anything for it. But I was putting on a clay face mask, and then it occurred to me, I don't think that most stores state explicitly in their language of their mask policies what type of a mask you have to wear. Like, so part of me that's a huge jerk, you know, not that I want to die on that hill, or you know, it's not some minimum wage employee's job to reinforce the policy. It's bad enough they have to wear a mask for like 8 hours of their day every single day, so like I'm not going to contend it with them, but I just thought that it would be hilarious to wear a clay face mask into the store, and if they tried to give you any like grief about it, you could be like, whoa, your mask policy only says I have to wear a mask, and as you can see, I'm wearing a mask right now, so like, no beef, chief. Like, just let me buy some Haagen-Dazs and get the hell out of here. You know, I'm doing my part.
Yeah, it's true. They're like mask or face covering, and you're like, well, my face is covered in a mask. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a loophole. I think more people should take advantage of this. And not that I want to encourage the spread of COVID-19, but if I am going to tacitly encourage or endorse it, I think that we should at least have a little fun. If you're going to be an anti-masker, just get tricky with the type of mask you wear, right? And then that way you can like play a game of logic chess with whoever's trying to enforce the policy and make a fun game out of it. And we don't have to just like hate each other on social media about it.
Yeah, it's like prove you're a moron.
Yeah, you know, be an amusing. If you're gonna be stupid, be amusing, right? That's what I always say. This is like, this is why I love going into a comedy. Is like I can get away with doing more goofy stuff if I do it under the guise of, hey, dude, I'm just kidding, right? Like it gives you kind of carte blanche to just go out there and do silly things that otherwise people would just call you an asshole for doing. It's my opinion.
Well, I mean, let's be real. Definitely wear a mask because like the mask thing is hilarious. But I feel like after this whole week of like this Adamson's barbecue guy, like I can't even deal with anything anymore. This
Yeah.
this guy, like, I didn't know people went this. That's the hill that they're dying on, which
Oh
is
yeah.
crazy because how good could this be?
It's yeah, I know. They're like, this is my Alamo. Like, they're having an I am Spartacus moment, as Senator Cory Booker would say.
Yeah, it's literally ridiculous. I'm like, okay, and then he's fighting to the death, like, gotta keep my business open, gotta keep my business open. And it turns out it's not even a real business.
So like they're not a licensed business, or what's the story? Because I haven't been following it that closely.
Yeah, his Etobicoke location is not even a licensed business.
That's so awesome. Someone just like wanted to be defiant, so they're like not even technically a legal registered business owner. They're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this for the GoFundMe donations and like make a big stink about it, and then social media is gonna do its thing. Because at this point, this is like a set formula, right? Like we're all able to see the pattern that kind of takes place here, with people know that they can monetize a political stance now.
Okay, I will say this, and I never thought this day would come. I miss the days of like, I'm going to Cuba and me and my boyfriend are stranded. Send me some GoFundMe money. Like, I miss that blatant honesty.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
it was refreshing.
Oh. Right? Now
Yeah.
it's like, I don't want to wear a mask, so give me $300,000. And my business, that's actually not a business, that I open in a garage somewhere in Etobicoke, like, make sure that you pay for that too. And I'm like, where do we draw the line here?
Yeah. Well, that's their real business model, right? It's not in selling barbecue. It's in the GoFundMe thing, right? Like, yeah, I do. I'm in the same boat as you. I miss the blatant rent seeking from people who didn't even try to pretend that they weren't that they were offering no value for the donation, right? Like, oh, hey guys, it's me, Sarah. I know I'm not hot enough to start an OnlyFans page, but I don't really want to work, and socialism's taking too long. So, like, give me your money. You know, like that was cool.
Yeah.
Like I was into that, right? That's like, all right, whatever. Like, at least you're not trying to BS me into thinking that you're doing something noble here, when really all you're doing is begging for attention, and then it's handing out the collection plate, right? Because it's really, that's all that's happening. And even worse than that, like, the only thing of less value, we're getting to like inception levels of stupidity with our public conversation and discourse. The only thing less valuable than a barbecue joint's opinion on mask wearing is an unlicensed ice cream business's opinion on a barbecue joint's opinion on mask wearing. Because some local ice cream, likewise, some garage business, I would be willing to guess not licensed, that they started out of their house during the pandemic, selling ice cream, chimed in on Instagram, and it was like, oh yeah, like, you know, we think that people should donate because they donate money to charity, and I commend them for that. I'm not like knocking these people or their business. I'm just knocking the fact that they throw their hat into the arena pretending it's because they're so virtuous, when really they just want to get more revenue, and so they can make donations. Yes, but that's only 10% of their profits. Like, at the end of the day, this is still a profit play that people are doing, and you know, in the modern economy of you know, everything's shared and no one's adding value to the conversation. Attention is currency, right? And this is what people are doing now. It's a proven model for success, where you can get more money from, you know, just putting up a big middle finger and getting lots of media headlines than you can from actually running a business with any kind of competence.
Honestly, like, I just don't. I want to start a GoFundMe. Like, you know what I mean? I think this is what I need to do, because, to be honest, the pandemic has hindered some of my favorite things to do as well. Okay, so yeah. I'm wearing my mask, but my feet are super crusty. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't been able to have a manicure in like 9 months, to the point where literally my boyfriend, who you know, called the bottom of my feet armor.
Nice. Tortured souls, like, they call those.
Like, I'm preparing for battle. So I'm like, I'm going to start a GoFundMe. I want enough sandpaper that I can get my feet smooth again. So I'm going to start a GoFundMe. I'm going to see how it goes.
Yeah, but here's the thing. This is kind of like going on what the welfare system was designed for, is like to collect money to support yourself so that you can get off of it. I feel like in today's modern economy, you can start a GoFundMe to get a pedicure, and then you can sell your foot photos online. So you don't have to do GoFundMe's anymore, right? It's like it's a way of getting off, so you're not, you know, abusing the system, Tamara. I see nothing morally wrong with what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start a GoFundMe so I can raise enough money to spend as much money as possible at Home Depot, because it's the only place open, because it's apparently essential to build a shed in the dead of winter. And so I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna get sandpaper so I can sandpaper my feet, and I'm gonna need about like $80,000 for this. So
Yeah, that sounds like an adequate budget, I would say.
so if I could get a smooth $80,000 for my feet, I will take foot photos and distribute them to the creepiest people in the GTA.
Well, that's like the kickback. You know how it's like if you donate to a GoFundMe, they'll give you like some merch, like a T-shirt or something. It's like if they give to your GoFundMe, then they get foot photos as their, you know, payment for, you know, to show your gratitude.
Yeah, if you donate, and I'm serious, guys. I'm serious. If you donate to my GoFundMe, which will be up right after this show, I'm gonna make it. Okay, yeah. I want $80,000 to sandpaper my feet, and I will send you how it was and how it's going photos of my feet along the way, because that's the new trend, before and afters.
Yeah.
And honestly, like let's get rich off these feet.
Well, there you go. Yeah, monetize them. Why not, right? I mean, this is, you know what's great about it is it's like foot photos. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some people who like that's a genuine fetish and people are into it, and people, you know, like to touch themselves while they look at pictures of other people's feet. It's not my thing, but you know, whatever. Everyone's got their tastes. But I'm pro sex work anyway, but I like sex work that doesn't feel like sex work. Like I was talking to a friend about this. I'm like, I want to start an OnlyFans just for my hilarious pillow talk. like not to actually like film. I don't want to film myself having sex, but I feel like I'm just throwing away free comedy. I'm hilarious in bed. I've completely came to this conclusion that like I'm not just being full of myself. Like I'm on point. I'm always on a roll. I never bomb after sex. It's just like I want to like sell that part of my sex life, you know, like nothing that's gonna make my parents too ashamed, but just, you know, do it in a way where like, you know, I could just put a microphone and just point it at the ceiling and it'll just be me being hilarious right after sex.
Honestly, someone told me I had the cutest ears they'd ever seen before, and that I should make money off of those. And I'm like, I might just do an ear OnlyFans. You can make money off of anything in 2020 at this point.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a strange compliment, though. I mean, it's like you do have nice ears, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it's such an interesting thing to compliment someone on, right? Like, one area to be focused on. They're just like, oh, those ears, my God. It's there was somebody, I was reading a story. This was, I think, in the last week. They were, what did they do? They started, you know, Fiverr, that app. Fiverr, where you can sell any service for like $5, something like that. They were like, this guy fired off a tweet to the internet, I think, just kind of half joking, was like, for $5, I'll comment yikes under your ex's photo on Instagram. And they made like, I forget, like $200,000 or something like that. Like this person made bank by doing this. It was hilarious.
Okay, hold on. Like, what are we doing? We need to be doing this. We need to be doing stuff like this. I know. Yeah. Like we're out here just being rational. Like I know. I'm like, no, Trudeau, I couldn't take your money. And everyone's just like, yeah, don't worry. We found a new way. Like, I want this life.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely want to get in on the gold rush of just like weird internet money and have some obscure business. There's another girl who, this is actually a really smart business. She made about $600,000 naming Chinese babies. Like just came up with English names, right? For that, you know, and like 5 different characteristics. And then, you know, couples who live in China, who I guess are either moving to the West, or there's value in having an anglicized name, they say, right? And then, because there's weird, whenever people mispronounce things like names like Rolex Chang or something like that, right? Like they kind of clearly picked a name that didn't apply in the spectrum of Western names, and so like weird stuff like that happens. So this girl would like that people would pick the characteristics that they want for their child, and then they would pick out of a list, and she had an algorithm that did it, and I think she was doing it for free and then started charging 60 cents, and she made about $600,000 since starting that business.
I love how lazy people are getting. Like, you can't name your kid, bro. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you know that I work at like a school with mainly international students, mainly from China.
Hmm.
And the names I come up with, I told you this, everyone wants to be Michael. And I was getting really confused because I was like, why does everyone want to be Michael? They're like, oh, for Michael Jackson. And I was like, you need to watch the news here. You need to watch the news. He's not the man you thought he was.
Yeah. Michael Jackson's not quite. I think that might have fallen out of trend. Yeah, that's actually hilarious, though. Well, good for the deceased Michael Jackson. I guess he's still inspiring Chinese baby names. It's great.
But in the same breath, in the same breath, I also had a student who named himself Living Dancing. Compound word, one word.
That's awesome. Living Dancing. I mean, so there's two favorite things, Tamara. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, he's like, my name's Living Dancing. Like, I want my name to be Living Dancing. I was like, oh, you can't. You know what I mean? He's like, why? I was like, those are verbs, buddy. Like, sit down. I got a lot to teach you. Like,
yeah. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Laughing Kidding. But yeah. Well, what are you going to do, right? Sometimes, I guess if it requires a solid command, it's not like I have a solid enough command of Chinese language where I would be able to competently name my child with a Chinese name, right? So, like, I guess if you're to turn the tables, it's not like I would be any better, right? I try and reserve my judgment under those grounds.
I have a really good Chinese name. It's Wu Lianhua.
What does that mean?
Lotus flower.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool.
But I also did live in China for 3 years, so I mean, I learned about that. And I know how to write it too, which
you what? Know how to write?
Yeah.
Sweet. That's pretty awesome.
I know how to write my name, but that's it. It's hard. So.
That sounds hard. I wouldn't be able to do it. I'm impressed. I commend you. Okay, so looks like it's time for our next segment. Ladies and gentlemen, topics from a hat. Whoop, whoop. Everybody's favorite section of the show. Again, just like it sounds, we pick topics from a hat at random, and then we are going to, talk about those particular topics and tell relatable stories. So here we go. I believe it is my turn to draw this week.
Yeah, I'm very nervous.
Let's see if fortune is favoring us today. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Most embarrassing moment on film. That's a good one. Do you have anything for this? You want to go first, or should I go first? I feel like I've got one for this. I got a good one. Okay. So this was when I was like, let me see. Yeah, I'll go with this one. When I was 12 years old, I think roughly 12 years old, maybe I was like grade 6, maybe even grade 5. So like between 10 and 12 years old, I used to do like extra work when I was a kid, and like, a little bit of like modeling and stuff like that. They cast you for sometimes. So I was with an agency, and I got a call to do a hot tub brochure, right, for a large hot tub company, right? They wanted to put this sexy rosacea mug all over their brochures. And so it was Beachcomber Hot Tubs. Beachcomber Spas was the company. And this was a brochure that was apparently widely circulated, though I never actually got to see a copy of it. So basically what happened for the shoot is they brought us to like a backyard, some family who had a really nice sort of picturesque backyard, the type of backyard you would have like weddings in, right? Like they probably Airbnb their yard for weddings in today's modern economy, but then they were using it for photo shoots because they also had a hot tub. And it was me and then like my fake family. So there's a mom and dad, and then a girl who was, I think, younger than myself, like maybe 8 to 9 years old girl. And then I'm the son, right? So there's a whole crew for these things, right? People, taking photos, there's the lighting guys and stuff, like a film set basically, right? And also what they had that I didn't know was a thing was they have somebody on site testing the pH levels in the hot tub, right? Like, which I don't know why they need that information for their shoot to be successful, but for whatever reason. So they have they give us like all these little toys to play with, like a rubber ducky and like a little foam football and like stuff that families totally don't do in hot tubs. Like even the whitest of families aren't playing these type of weird frolicky hot tub games, right? Like it just, I don't understand why they thought that this was a natural look for their shoot, but it wasn't just people relaxing and sitting in a hot tub as people tend to do. It was like, for some reason, we're like playing like pool sports in this hot tub. So very unnatural shot, but you know, not for me to critique it. I was just a boy. So we they're shooting this scene, and oh god, this was embarrassing. It was so bad. I'm a 10-year-old kid, right? To get up, and I didn't want to get up and disrupt the shoot to like go into the bathroom, go into the house and go pee, right? And so like I did what I feel like most boys that age do. I just urinated in the hot tub, which don't give me that shocked look. Like you never peed in a pool. Just because I admit to these things, I'm not a shame-filled person. I've made peace with the mistakes that I've made in my life. I don't do it anymore. Like it's not like I'm a pool urinator now or a hot tub urinator, especially because that's an even smaller container, right? So like gross, right? I know, I understand that now. But again, I didn't want to like get up and disrupt the whole shoot. And there was like a dozen people just behind the camera, and then there's the family. We're getting paid, I think it was, I don't know if it was a flat thing, if we got paid by the hour, probably by the hour. I made like $200 for the shoot. It was pretty decent. That's as much money as I made on that whole dating show that I did for like 3, several hour shoots. So like, it's good money. And this was back in the day. But anyway, I peed in the hot tub, and the guy who's testing the pH comes along, right? He was doing it like every 30 minutes too, which I don't know why, but now I guess I know why. So he comes along and he's just like takes the sample and he looks at it, and like this guy didn't have my back at all. Like you would think that he would see something, a little, an anomalous result on this test and not want to like freak everyone out and have them with these like pained expressions on their face for the rest of this photo shoot. But he just straight calls it out. He looks at it and he's like, oh, someone peed in the hot tub. Like called me out so hard, right? And like obviously he didn't say who, they didn't know who, but like this isn't exactly, oh, was it Colonel Mustard in the conservatory with the candlestick? Like obviously we all knew who pissed in the hot tub. I was a 10-year-old boy. Like, it clearly wasn't the two grown-ups. I don't think this is a young girl move per se, right? Maybe for some, but like I was just the most obvious suspect. It wasn't tough to profile me. And like, I'm just all guilty. I'm sitting there. I'm just like, it wasn't me. Like just dying on the inside because clearly everyone knew. And it was just this like unspoken understanding that like, well, this is gross. This kid pissed in the hot tub. Now we got to spend like another hour in here throwing this football around and pretending to have a good time. So yeah, that was a pretty, it was pretty bad. It was extremely painful. Looking back on it, like I'm just as embarrassed reliving the story by telling it as I was in that moment. It's like almost like a PTSD flashback to when the guy just looked at the test and just like out loud, like, well, someone pissed in the hot tub. And everyone's like, the entire crew of people, everyone there is just like looking at me. I'm like, oh, like, did I do that? Just doing my best Steve Urkel. Oh, it sucked, man. It was not cool. I would say
a good take.
That was my most.
I would say a good takeaway is that you did make $200 at 10 years old.
Yeah, I was making bank, dude. And like I didn't have any other expenses at that age. Like you're living at home, you're not even, like you don't have a car, you don't really go out and go to restaurants, movies maybe, but like when you're 12, you don't even have that money. This is when I was big into like urban streetwear, so I would just spend the money on like Fat Farm shirts and stuff like that, like $200, and I just like fill my closet with like FUBU and Echo and Fat Farm and all of this. I was one of those kids. So like, yeah, it was cool, man. The money went quite a long way compared to how expensive my taste in clothing did get eventually one day. I harkened back to just how many t-shirts I could buy with $200. It was pretty sick.
Oh man, that's pretty good. Like I feel like now that you've explained your story, I'm thinking about how many embarrassing things I have on film, and I'm just like, yo, I can never actually be famous. You know what I mean? I can't. Like, what's gonna resurface? Let's not even talk about all of the iPhone videos that I'm on that are probably embarrassing. It's probably not my best work. But I mean, one thing that comes to mind for sure is I went to this really crazy cottage, and this was like, I guess like 5 years ago, and it was like the richest cottage, the richest guy that I knew. I was somehow dating this dude. I don't really know how that happened. But it was like a weird thing where you're not really like dating. It's just like you work at a restaurant, someone like tips you really well, they slide you the number, you're like, okay, cool, let's hang out. And he's like, oh, surprise, I'm like a millionaire. And I was like, what? Yeah, it was crazy. And I was just like, honestly, like, and these are the reasons why I've never decided that I needed to really like fully lose weight. When you get picked up by someone who's a millionaire and you don't have to worry about anything, I'm like, yo, my personality's got it covered. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to like out here on this treadmill. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So we go right? So we go to this cottage, and I have put on this like bathing suit. And like this cottage is all glass windows. It's really insane. The lookout is crazy. They have wine on tap in the kitchen.
What?
Dude, it was wild. So I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, make yourself at home. I was like, buddy, I'm already like under the tap. Like, I'm at home.
Yeah, I feel like when you said that, you were totally already at home. Like, wine on tap. I'm like, that is like your idea of heaven for sure. That's crazy.
So I'm like, okay, cool. He's like firing up these full blown like salmon steaks, actual steaks. His friends are coming up. They have like all this like Dom Perignon. Like, it's crazy. I'm like, what is happening? And so the next day we wake up, and they have this crazy idea to be like, let's pretend it's like a reality show. And so I'm like, oh, let's not. Like, but reality was like super big back then. It still is big, but it was like everyone wanted to like try to pitch to MTV their like garbage friends, like doing absolutely nothing and thinking that they deserve the shine. So we're all doing this whole thing where we're trying to do like the best jumps off of the dock into the lake, and like we were rating it, and we all had like numbers, and we're like, okay, like 6, 5, like 10, like whatever, right? So I decide, why not start my morning off with red wine and orange juice and mimosas, is what I was calling them. Which
sorry.
Which just shows.
Red wine and orange. Oh god, I can't even imagine what that tastes like. What was it? How was it?
I was blackout. I kept being like, it's like a Shirley Temple. It's like, I need you to calm down.
A Shirley Temple. That's great.
Like, this is her. It's like you picked me up at a bar. Like, what do you think I'm gonna be like? Oh, also, like, let me pull out my checkbook. I feel like I need to contribute. Like, no. So
Yeah.
whatever. So making these, and we're doing this like jump off, and I'm like rating people. I'm being savage. I'm like, and we're recording it all, and they're like commentary from Tamara, and I'm like, I mean, form was a little off, but I guess it will do. 7. Like, I'm just going in. And now it's my turn, and I run from the back of the dock, and because like everyone's doing like their little like jumps. Some people are doing like run and jumps like into the lake, and I'm like, yo, I went to gymnastics my whole life growing up. You know, I can get flexible when I want. So it's like, okay, whatever. So I start doing a run for it. I do this beautiful, like round off, jump off, like dive into the water. And I'm like, yo, I kill that. I come up, and I'm like, and everyone's like, yeah. Dude, my whole bathing suit had just slid off of me. And just my tits. Like, just my tits out of the water.
Everyone's like, yeah, Tamara. Oh no. Oh god, didn't you? How long did it take you to notice?
Dude, so long. Like, it took so long because I was just like, oh, okay, whenever I start getting out of the water, just like with my baby, and then I look down, I'm like, oh my god. And of course my hair's not as long as it is now. So I was just like, it looked like they ordered a hooker to this cottage. Like, it was so bad.
God.
And it's on the tape. And honestly, once in a while, he'll just be like, he'll message me out of the blue and be like, remember when you were clearly the drunkest person at the cottage that we went to? And I was like, yeah. Like, I have that video like stored, because sometimes I just look at it and I'm like, yo, look how far I've come. Like,
Yeah.
look how far I've come.
It's a good place to start the setting the bar, you know, like it's what level of sophistication were they expecting? You having red wine Shirley temples, for God's sake. Like that's, I feel like that's, you know, it's par for the course, right? Like, I don't know. I would just be like, oh, classic Tamara, always set the tits out. Yeah, I don't know.
I like I usually have my nip slips like underwater, but this was like a whole thing. Like the fact that I like respected them.
Yeah. Like a gymnastics dismount, like arms up in the air, top completely pulled down. I'm just picturing it. That's amazing. Did
I
any?
mean, like he still invited me for like other years, and like we're still in touch because it's just like obviously he was like, this girl is not going to be someone that anyone's trying to date, but she's going to be really fun to bring to the cottage. So I was like,
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, there you go. I mean, it sounds like it was a fun time for everyone.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Did anyone critique your dive? Like, did you have a Simon Cowell doing their thing, or like was everyone too afraid to say anything? Like, they not know how you felt about it at that moment?
Come on, 10s across the board, buddy. Like, you know what it is.
Yeah, of course. Still me. I should have known. Oh, that's amazing.
So they're like, yeah, 10. I'm like, yeah. I mean, whatever it takes to get more of that salmon. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, girls gotta get that salmon. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah. It's like the OnlyFans for dock diving. That's good. I feel like no one's doing that on OnlyFans. You know, you just bring a computer up to Muskoka and you start up a page for that, right? It's about being innovative, right? You want to do what your competitors aren't doing and create your own niche. That's the key, I think.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is a trend. This foot thing's the trend. Like, look out for me on GoFundMe. Like, I'm gonna be out here making moves.
Yeah, that's the move. I love how we started the show taking the piss out of people who start GoFundMe. Now both of us are like, you know what? I think I'm going to start an OnlyFans or a GoFundMe. Like mid conversation, we realized that this is actually a really great idea.
Yeah, I'm like Adam, call me. I love barbecue.
Yeah, let's do it. You bring the salmon, I'll bring the tits.
Oh man,
that's great. I love that.
I think it is time to do our last segment.
Oh yes, headlines. Whose headline is it anyway?
Whose headline is it anyway? I found a headline that is just so out of control and very much tied into something else that I read in the news this week. Do you want me to start with this? Because I'm just like, I don't even know.
Yeah, give it.
This is going to be, hold on, let me actually pull it up here because wow. Like, just wow. Here we go. So the title of this article is the mafia is probably going to try to get their hands on the COVID vaccine. Okay.
What? That's the most speculative headline I've ever heard. Did The Simpsons predict it or something?
Dude, and the next line, coronavirus vaccines will be equivalent of liquid gold to organized crime networks, according to Global Police Agency.
What?
Mafia groups will most likely try to disrupt the distribution of COVID-19 vaccine. In a statement, the group warned its 194 member countries to be on high alert for organized crime networks attempting to infiltrate supply chains to get their hands on the vaccine. They also warned about the fraudulent sale of coronavirus vaccines. The mafia. I'm just so confused.
That's insane. That's like that is literally, it's just pure speculation. I'd be so cheesed too if I was like a part of the mafia. I'd be like, what the hell? Like we didn't announce that we were doing this or talk about it in private. Like what is the news doing? That's madness.
I just find it so funny that like suddenly the mafia is not secret and they're like sharing their details of what they're gonna do with the world. It's like they're the mafia. They're not. Yeah. There's no leaked insider mafia information that be like, gotta get our hands on this coronavirus vaccine. Like, liquid gold? Who wrote this?
Yeah, I know. Like, this is insane. This is excuse me, gentlemen, we took an oath not to talk about our theft of vaccines. Good God, that's crazy. That is like the most incompetent, what news organization was this that wrote this article?
Oh man, hold on. New York Times.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, look, my respect for the New York Times is in the toilet as it is, but like that is a whole new level of low. That's such a garbage headline. That's crazy. And did they say what police organization? Or just like a global police organization? Like, did they mention who put this out? Like Interpol? Like, who was it? That's crazy. This is just, I don't know. This feels like they just pulled it out of their ass. Like it's been a slow news cycle, and now they're announcing like Nostradamus predictions of what organized crime groups are going to do during a pandemic.
Right? I was just like, okay, 2020 is over, clearly. And like, but it's just so funny because in like literally 2 articles down, it's like Obama, Clinton, and who was it, like Bush or someone, have all been like, they volunteer to take the vaccine first and do it on camera so that everybody can trust the vaccine. I'm like, what?
Well, didn't you know, Tamario, there's no one that the public trusts more than their president. Like, what? How does that lend any credibility to this at all? It's like, you might as well, like, don't worry, guys. We got the secretary treasurer of the Illuminati to demonstrate this vaccine safety for you. Like, it's going to be totally fine. God, yeah, I don't see the logic in that one bit. Who the hell trusts any of those men, really? I mean, like, oh God, what is the world coming to?
Well, it's just like, okay, first of all, you can, like, what is this? They're acting like it's an actual, like, they're gonna fake this. They're not gonna be like, okay, this vaccine that no one's tried, we'll try first. We hate our family. Like, what?
Yeah. How are they going to test the veracity of this vaccine? Like, that's the thing, is like, you could just have a complete placebo and a needle. Who's going to be able to say, is the demonstrations of no good? It's like literally the president's going to play 3-card Monty before you put your money down just to prove that this is in fact a game that can be won. Like, there is, to me, that lends no credibility at all. This is the other thing about the stupid headline about the mafia selling vaccines, is like, it seems like there's more people right now who are running away from taking the damn vaccine. What do you think? People are going to pay their own money out of pocket to get a black market COVID vaccine? Like, this is so counter to like public sentiment on this thing. If I'm reading any of the social media tea leaves correctly, like, I don't understand this one bit. Jesus Christ.
It's like, turns out nobody wants this vaccine because it's like, they're like, it's 90% effective. And then a day later, like, no, it's 92% effective. And then like a day later, like, no, it's 95%. I'm like, dude, this is going to kill us all. And
yeah.
like, what in the zeitgeist is this going on right now? Like, I can't.
I don't know. It's so weird, man. It's just like, look, I say this all the time. The news and journalism are 2 wildly different things. Journalism is holding power accountable, at least it's supposed to be. The news is a big business that is owned by those same powerful interests that are supposed to be held accountable. It's huge money, and it's just like, I miss the good old days when kind of like when people on GoFundMe pretended or didn't pretend that they were offering value. It's like, I miss the good old days when the news at least pretended that it was objective. You know what I mean? Like, now you got these one source stories where it's like, you're just quote mining people's reactions on Twitter. Like, okay, so-and-so tweeted this, and then this egg said, I disagree strongly with that. And that egg said, you're an idiot. I agree strongly. And I had sex with your mom. Like, who cares about any of this? He says this isn't news even, right? Like, it's so, oh God, the whole world's going to hell in a handbasket, man. It's just, I don't know what to make of it all. It's crazy.
Yeah, like, I'm just like, Obama, like, you're black, man. Like, you can't be out here taking vaccines, like, as the first, like, black president. Like, no. They're not taking it. There's no way. First, I love how they're just testing all of that out on England, though. Like, England.
Yeah.
Like,
the canaries in the coal mine. It's England. World's watching.
Like, I'm just kind of like, well, I mean, England does like to pioneer things, I guess.
Yeah, well, I believe the first country to have an epidemic of knife violence, which goes to show how gun control really helps in preventing deaths. They're like, no, we're just going to stab our enemies at school. This hasn't really slowed us down at all. Yeah, well, there's a will, there's a way. Old Uncle Boris really can't wrap his hands around this one. I don't know what to think about it, but
His wife
crazy.
super hot too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I got a great headline here. This one, this is a delicious headline. It's an anti-gay Hungarian politician has resigned after being caught by the police fleeing a 25-man orgy through a window.
No!
Yes. I love headlines like this. You know why? It's always the crusaders who have the most skeletons in their closet, or who are the skeleton in the closet, as it were. Like, you know what I mean? It's always like, it's never just Joe Citizen who gets caught in some sort of, it wouldn't be scandalous if it was just the average person. Like, people are gay, that's fine, right? Like, the world knows about this. This isn't some scandalous behavior. But when you're like an anti-gay such and such, right? It's like the anti-gay preacher who gets caught with a gay prostitute doing crystal meth in a hotel room, or like people in the Vatican getting wrapped up in gay scandals. Like Mike Pence, we can agree for sure, right? That guy is so deep in the closet, he's hiding behind old Christmas decorations. There's no way that man is straight, right? He's just suppressed to such a degree because he's like conservative Christian. He's got to play to his base, and therefore people become, like advocates against certain behavior. So yeah, anti-gay Hungarian politician jumped out of a window. First of all, he's breaking COVID restrictions.
Jumped out of a window.
Yeah, climbed out of a window. There's just a bunch of dudes getting it on. It says an ally of Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban it resigned from the European Parliament after attending what was described as a 25-man orgy in Brussels.
What was described?
Yeah, what was described? I feel like that, like, is that like it either is or it isn't, right? Like it's not an adjective. That's the noun. What else could it be described as? A meeting of the minds. Some gentlemen having a little intercurricular social activities.
Yeah, as it was described, it's like homeboy was in an orgy. Like,
yeah,
there's no other way. Like,
dead-on description to me. Yeah, the police found H.E.R and 24 other naked men at gathering, including diplomats, local reports said. Wow, that is, I mean, hey, that's diplomacy at its finest. If this was, if these were gay men from various delegations across the world, like, they're making some headway at the UN. This really means, we could live in a world free of wars one day if we keep at this level of fraternizing. It says, yeah, he played a key role in Orban's government crackdown on LGBTQ rights in Hungary. See, that's amazing when people just get nailed with something like this and their hypocrisy gets called out in the public square. Like that, see, that is what journalism is supposed to be, is like exposing people's hypocrisy, right? It's like the governors eating in the restaurants with all their families, right? Governor Newsom and all these people like breaking COVID restrictions. This is where I can actually respect, this is in Business Insider, I actually respect the media when they run pieces like this, because god damn, that is funny.
that is actually insane. The main thing is just that, like, I'm like, imagine just showing up there and everyone's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Like, he clearly has been doing this for like ever, and like that's just the weirdest.
Yeah,
this happens all the time, though. This happens all the time.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Like, this is, I feel like in elite circles, it's any sort of taboo behavior is used to blackmail and keep each other in line, sort of a thing, right? It's like, we're not going to tell everyone the secrets that we're discussing for our domination of the world, because then everyone's going to find out about the other stuff that we were doing, right? Like that type of a thing. I feel like this all kind of ties together in some way.
I have so many questions, though. Like, how high up was he? Which story window? Any bones broken? Like, I need to know.
Yeah, was it a basement window, or was it like a window and then off of a balcony into some trees, like some ninja type stuff? But apparently he didn't get too far. Obviously, they caught him along with the other 24 naked men. God, that's hilarious. What a high profile guest list for a 24-man orgy as well, right? You got like prominent politicians and stuff like that there. Like, God,
yeah, diplomats, like head of the UN. Like you're just like, what is going on right now?
Yeah, it's a pretty exclusive club. How do I get in, fellas? I want to be a part of this powerful group. All right, you got another one?
It's also happy. I'm also just happy though that I've never been arrested naked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you get like, I mean, I guess they make you can wear the paper suit that they give you at the drunk tank when your clothes get wet. But yeah, like having to be arrested and taken into the cop car like full Monty, you know, like that's gotta suck. That really adds insult to injury. You don't have your hand, you can't even cover up your private areas. You're just like hands behind the back, just walking through like, what up, everybody in the cell block? Yeah,
right. It really it's insult to orgy. Is what you meant to say.
Yeah. That's,
okay,
big,
what's your
big things. Okay, do you got another one? You want me to do one? I think we got time for one more quickly before we go.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure that yours is like, yeah. Let's hear your second one.
This one's good. Dog missing for 3 weeks, finds owner working at Walmart. Walmart made an appearance. Walmart, the Florida of department stores, is of course where this dog found their owner, because that's the only store that dogs just casually wander into and no one really says boo about it until they find their owners. Yeah, hilarious on so many levels. Let's see what the intro paragraph says. A dog that went missing from her owner's Alabama backyard turned up 3 weeks later when the canine wandered into a Walmart store and found her owner working at a checkout lane. Well, would you look at that?
First of all, the dog didn't find the owner. The owner found the dog. The dog's not like, excuse me, pardon me, I'm trying to find my owner.
Yeah. It's got a bunch of posters that printed out at Kinko's. Like, oh, I found the person finally. Yeah, like no kidding. The dog. Yeah, they really did get that wrong. You know what's the even bigger headline here is there are still people working at Walmart checkouts. Isn't that crazy, huh? I thought that job was like a typewriter repairman, you know, like it was out the way of the dodo because we've decided to take part in our own financial enslavement. But yeah, wild, right? On so many levels. What are your thoughts on this?
I love that the person writing this is already so fed up. They're trying to find so many synonyms for dog. They're like, the canine, the dog, the woof woof.
Yeah, the borking doggo went and found its owner. Yeah, they really did get creative with their verbiage on that, didn't they? It says Danielle Robinette, a customer service associate at the Walmart store in Dauphin, says she was baffled when a black and white dog wandered into the store. Gosh, you know, the news articles these days all just focus on the race of the dog. Like, I feel like, yeah, the black and white dog wandered into the store. And I was like, what in the world is happening? Robinette told the Washington Post. I'm a huge animal lover, so I just followed her, and she ran up to register number 6. That's awesome. All right, well, that one pretty much ties itself up with a nice bow. We're gonna end it here. The show can also be heard on the Barnburner Radio Network on its 122 platforms. Please check out barnburner.ca for all the news and programming. That's Barnburner.
Watch it.
Hear it.
Read it.
Download it. Come on, one more.
Live it.
Live it. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. Tamara's at TMair, at TEEMAIR, and I am at Warren J Comedy. That is WARRENJAY Comedy. Take care, everybody. Namaste.